Hello everyone, this is Providencia. Welcome to my channel. I am here to do a recipe for you guys. This is gonna be a Bacalao Guisado. It's really good. I'm gonna give you the recipe today. Now I have one in my channel, but it's like really old. Like I believe it's like 5 or 6 years old. I'm gonna leave the link in the description box below. However, I do it slightly different now, so I wanted to do this video, you know, just to show you how I do it now. And if you hear a lot of noise in the back, it's because right now I am also cooking other things. I'm gonna make the Bacalao Guisado for me and my son's girlfriend Nicole, but none of my other kids eat Bacalao Guisado. They only like the Bacalao salad. So I am making white rice, pollo guisado, white beans. I'm gonna make some plantains, and yeah, so I'm not gonna eat the pollo guisado, but I am gonna hook up the Bacalao Guisado with some white rice, small white beans on the side with some plantains. You're gonna see it anyway in this video. And yeah, let me go and show you everything I have. I hope you guys have been enjoying my videos. Sorry, it's been like voiceovers, but it's been a little crazy in my house with the holidays, people staying over and all. But you know, everybody basically left to their house now. The holidays is over, and I told everyone in this house, please keep it quiet because I don't want to do no voiceovers. I want to cook naturally for my subscribers. Anyhow, these are the ingredients you're gonna need. You're gonna need some bacalao. Now bacalao is very salty. I'm gonna show you how to take out the salt in a minute, but you're gonna need a pack of those. I got here some homemade sofrito. I'm gonna leave the link to my homemade sofrito down in the description box below. Some oregano, any oregano that you have in your house. Black pepper. This is optional. I'm gonna add some olives. Now you don't have to add the olives, but I love olives in my rice. In my yellow rice, my beans, stews, like certain things I like olives. So you don't have to add it, but I'm gonna add it. I got some extra virgin olive oil, tomato sauce or tomato paste. I have this tomato paste that I had used this week, so I'm gonna use that. I'm gonna show you how much to add, but if you want to add tomato sauce, just try to add at least a half a can of the 8-ounce one, okay? One small potato. Doesn't matter what kind of potato it is, but yeah, we're gonna add the potatoes, and we gotta boil that as well. Red onions. Now I know you guys are not gonna believe me, but this is 1 clove of garlic. I bought this at Walmart, like a big garlic head, and it was the biggest one ever. I swear. So you don't really need to use this much. I am gonna make extra garlic I could also add it to my plantains. So maybe about maybe 1 clove, 2 if they're very small you want to use for this recipe. Some Goya. We're not going to use all of this. We're going to just sprinkle a little bit for color. Lemon and pepper adobo. That's the yellow one. And I don't know if I mentioned we're going to need lime. We got a couple of colorful peppers here. Hold on, you guys. I got to turn the rice. Hold on. Sorry, you guys. I'm in the middle of cooking different things, so yeah, I already turned my rice. I put the lid and all that good stuff. I'm gonna show you everything that I'm cooking. You know that every time I do a recipe, I always show you guys everything that I'm cooking or some light cooking. Thank you. And all that good stuff. So yeah, back to this. We got some colorful peppers. If you only got the red and green one, fine, you could just add that. The majority of people always have the red and green one anyway. That nobody really rock with the yellow or the orange, but I am gonna add a little bit of everything, you know, different colors. And I got here some fresh cilantro. And I got it in a cup with water for it can last longer in my fridge. And I think that's it. If I'm missing something, I'll definitely let you guys know, because I am cooking different things and I sometimes tend to get confused when I'm doing a video and cooking other things as well. So let's start this video. I got a pot of boiling water. You're gonna want to do that, and I'm gonna add everything in there. The fish, oops, okay, I gotta mess the clean. We're gonna do this at least like 2 or 3 times. Yes. Why? Because we want to take out all that salt that's in that fish. That's what you're going to want to do. So I'm going to let this boil for like maybe 10 minutes. I'm going to throw out the water, put fresh water, re-boil it again. And then I'm probably going to taste it after the second one. If it's not salty, then we'll start cooking it. This is the first time we're going to do this process. So yes, remember, we're trying to take out all of the salt. So 10 minutes there, leave it boiling, and then we're gonna drain it out and we're gonna do it a second time. First, you wanna peel your potatoes, which I should have done this earlier, but since I'm doing this step by step for everybody to follow, that's what you're gonna wanna do after you put your bacalao into the boiling water. If you want to add more potatoes, you can. And when you boil it, try to boil it for like at least maybe 4 minutes. Put a fork on it, and you're going to see if your fork goes through. If your fork goes through, that means you got to put it in cold water. Just put it aside until we assemble everything together. Make sure you wash your potato too. And you're going to want to cut it. I'm going to cut them a little smaller. And this is the size that you want. Like I said, you can add more, but I'm only gonna add 1 potato. And I got my little small pot here. I'm gonna add it in there, and I'm gonna boil it for at least 4 minutes. Next, we're gonna need a pesto. This I got in the Dominican Republic. I have a whole bunch of pestos though. So we're gonna do our garlic. Like I said, this was a really big one. Let me do this over here. This was a very huge one. I forgot what kind of garlic this is called. Look, for you guys can see. Look at this. Ay, Dios mío. And I like to cut off the little tip because it's annoying. Like I said, you want to add maybe 1 or 2 cloves. That's the rice. 1 or 2 cloves you're going to want to add, depending on how much you like garlic. And you're going to want to put that in there. It's going to be hard to smash, I'll tell you that much. I'm going to have to remove this out of there. And I'm going to add a little bit of oregano in there. Since I always eyeball everything, I'm going to try to give you guys measurements here. So I'm going to say like just a little pinch, you know. You don't need that much. Put that in there. And we're going to smash away. Oh, hell no. And here it is. And I know there's a lot of garlic in there, but not to worry. We're going to use some for the Bacalao Guisado. And I'm going to make plátanos with garlic on top. Although I'm going to add extra ingredients to this when I make the garlic sauce. I'm going to leave the link to my tostones and garlic down in the description box below as well. But yeah, everything is smashed. And then next, what I'm going to do is just start cutting all of my vegetables and stuff like that. And I'm gonna check up on the bacalao. Okay, so I had to stop everything I was doing because it was already done. You see? So now we're gonna do it again a second time. Try not to break your bacalao too much. Leave it just like that whole. We're gonna break it up a little bit when we put everything together. So that's the second time I'm boiling this. Okay, just letting you guys know. Now back to cutting all the vegetables and all that good stuff. I also forgot to mention that the potatoes are done. Let me show you how they look. This is what they're looking for. I'm just gonna grab maybe one or two right here. Let me get a fork. And you want your fork to go in. You see how it broke? It's still a little hard, but it's already cooked. You don't want to like mashed potatoes. That's not what you want. Again, okay? And we are gonna cook this a little bit more when we do the bacalao guisado. So you wanna just cook it for at least 4 minutes, okay? Then take it out and try to put it in cold water and put it aside until we assemble everything. And here are all the peppers. Now I'm probably not gonna add all of this. I always say this in all my videos. If I cut too much peppers and onions, you know, I just put it away in a small container and I use it, you know, the next day to cook and stuff, you know. But I'm not gonna lie, I do love a lot of peppers and onions in my bacalao guisado. And I got cilantro. The cilantro we are definitely gonna add towards the very end. I'm gonna still leave this here and I am gonna check up on the bacalao. It's been 10 minutes, drain it out and all that good stuff. So we'll be back. I got the bacalao here. I'm gonna put it in there. And I'm gonna use the same pot to like do a guisado right now, so I'm gonna put this in the stove. And from here, add a little cold water just to, you know, just to cool it down a bit, because you're gonna want to break it just a little bit, not too much, please. Just break it like a little bit. It's very soft. You can do this with one hand, for real. I don't want to do it small pieces. I like chunks. Like, this is the way I would normally like it. Like maybe like chunks like this. If you want to make it smaller than that, you can. I don't like it. And it is going to break a little bit more apart while we stir it up and everything. So don't cut it up too much, okay? So let's go to the pan, because this is a simple recipe, you know. You could do this really quick. So let's go to the stove. Okay, so the pollo guisado is done. My white beans is done. The rice is done. I just gotta do the plantains. I was gonna make a little salad, but I'm not gonna do that. I'm just gonna cut a couple of slices of avocado. Thinking about putting a fried egg on the side with my bacalao. You know, I always gotta go extra. Always gotta go extra every time I do videos for you guys. And I'm also gonna plate it because I had someone on Facebook saying, please plate your food, you know. So I'm gonna plate it today so you could get an idea how I plate it. But yeah, okay, you guys. I have here some olive oil. You want to add at least like maybe a tablespoon, or maybe a little less, but I'm gonna add about a tablespoon. That's good right there. I got my homemade sofrito right here. Yes, yes. So I'm gonna add about maybe a tablespoon, since it's not a lot of bacalao. Oh my goodness, I forgot to turn the pot on. Hold on. You want to put this on low. I truly forgot. I'm sorry, you guys. You're going to want to do that. If you got ranchero, sazon líquido, I'm going to see if I can insert a picture somewhere here. You could definitely add that. Add like a tablespoon or two of that. And again, this is optional. Add some olives. I like a lot, so I'm gonna add a few. I love olives. And I'm gonna add a little bit of garlic, not too much. I'm gonna say like maybe a teaspoon of garlic. Okay, that's a little bit more than a teaspoon, but it's all right. And this is the bacalao. Yum. You do not understand. I love bacalao, bacalao salad, bacalao guisado. Oh my goodness. It's so good. You're gonna wanna let that simmer for like at least a good 2-3 minutes. Make sure all the flavors blend together. Okay, I'm gonna add just a little bit of juice from the sofrito. You don't have to, but you know, I want extra flavor, so I'm adding a little bit there. And then we're gonna add a little bit of tomato paste, about maybe like a teaspoon or a little bit more than that. I'm using a tablespoon, but you want to add only a teaspoon. If you have like the tomato sauce, add half a can of tomato sauce. I'm gonna start adding all the peppers right now and the onions. I love a lot of onions, so I'm throwing all of that in there. Yes, I'm sorry. Some greens. If you ask my personal opinion, the red pepper goes so well with the bacalao salad. I love adding the red one. Oops. Listen, I ended up putting the whole thing. I'm sorry. I want a lot of peppers in there. Yes, I do. And the cilantro is gonna be last. And I'm gonna add the potatoes. Just gonna add a little bit of water. Start off with like a half a cup for now.
I know it's been a while. I know you're thinking the same, but I've been feeling like
and I'm gonna add a little bit of sazon. I'm probably gonna add a half a packet. So remember, we boiled the water twice to take out all the salt. If you do like 2 packs of this, you should try to do it like 3 times, just to make sure all the salt is out of the bacalao. So I'm gonna add half. Not too much. A little bit of black pepper, not too much. Some oregano. Whoa, that's okay. That's good right there. You can add this much. Try not to add too much though. I love oregano, so I'm gonna add it in there. Alright, you guys. I am gonna add a little bit more of the tomato paste. I'm sorry, guys. You know, I eyeball everything. Not like, no, I don't like. That's just the way I cook. I try to give you guys measurements because I know some of you guys, you know, y'all like measurements, and I understand that, you know. But I've been doing this for years, so it's like, I know what to add. But about a tablespoon of tomato paste. If you don't have tomato paste and you got tomato sauce, add about a half a can. I keep repeating myself because I like to explain myself. I don't know. And you want to have this on medium heat and just let it come together. I'm going to try to cook this for at least 10 minutes on medium heat, and make sure the tomato paste break apart and all that stuff. just a little bit of water, not too much, because I like a little bit of the sauce. All right, and you can see that. That's why I tell you just cut it in chunks, because it does break a little bit apart. See if I could get just bacalao. See, there's some chunks there, but there's some that doesn't have no chunks. It broke apart. Okay, see, these are chunky. There you go. All right, so I don't want to keep cooking it too long either. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna taste this a little bit. Oh my God, you could taste like the fish, the bacalao. Oh my goodness. But I am gonna add a little bit of this. This is lemon and pepper. Now, if your bacalao has a good flavor, you know, you don't need to add this, or you could just add salt, but I'm gonna add this. Just a sprinkle. Put this a little high just to make sure it comes together. I'm trying to like turn it so I don't have to, like, you know, break it too much either. I'm so happy I made this. That is perfect right there. And last, what we're gonna do is, I got a half a lime, and we're gonna squeeze a half a lime towards the very end. Okay, and voila. Oh my God. You could use the regular adobo if you want, but you should buy that one. That's the one with the yellow top with the lemon flavor. Oh my goodness. Yeah, you guys should really buy that. And then towards the end, add the cilantro and turn it off. Now, if you don't want like that potent cilantro taste, just add the cilantro when you're adding everything together in the very beginning, okay? Mix it up. And I'm gonna turn it off and put it aside. And this is the bacalao. I'm still gonna plate it, and I'm still gonna show you everything I made for dinner, but I just wanted to put it in a fancy plate for that way I could just go and take some pictures and all that good stuff. So put 2 little limes there. If you got lemon, you could use lemon, but this goes well with lime. Very, very well. Now, if you don't have to add as much peppers and onions as I did, I love it. It's really good with the fish. But you can add a little less if you want. Oh my God. Soft and tender. Please make this. This is so perfect. With white rice, you do not understand. You're missing out on life if you don't make this with white rice. I'm sorry. Some plátanos. You don't understand. Alright. I'm frying the plátanos right now. And then I'm going to show you everything, plated up and everything. We'll be back. Okay, so just want to show you everything that's going on. I got this with a napkin. I just finished smashing all of the plátanos. I only made plátanos just for the plate. Of course, I'm going to eat it. But I'm just saying, I didn't make a whole bunch for my family. So I don't know. They're just going to have to take one because I want like 3. I'm sorry. And then some avocados right there. I got my ajos that I made. Like, you know, you saw me smashing the garlic and all that, but I ended up putting oil, vinegar, olive oil, vinegar, and you know, extra stuff. You're just gonna have to see the totone recipe with the garlic sauce so you can know how to make that recipe. Got more limes there. I cut some cucumber there. I might fry an egg. I got the tahini so I could put it on my avocado. I still got this here. This is all the stuff I did today. And then I just finished seasoning pork chops because I forgot to season it. And don't worry, you guys. Me, when I work with meat and all that stuff, in my kitchen, you best believe I'm washing my hands all the time. You can see the lid that is a little wet with like water drops. I don't play that. I'm very, very clean in my kitchen. So we got that going on here, and I'm gonna show you the beans and everything. I got the rice here, white rice. These are small white beans. I just rewarmed it up again because, you know, it was, you know, I had it turned off while I was doing other things. But this is how it looks. So I'm gonna probably leave it on for a little while to thicken up just a little bit, because when you put the lid, you know, on it with all the steam, it tends to get a little watery again. But this is how it looks. I'm gonna see if I got any rest. Well, I know I do, with white beans in the description box below. I have this pan here. That's the one that I did a bacalao, but I washed it up, and I am going. Sorry about the kids upstairs. I'm gonna spray a little bit of this original canola spray. I don't got the butter one. To do an egg right there, and this is the pollo guisado. Yeah, it looks a little messy today. I'm not gonna lie. I just threw it in there. I am not even gonna lie. I usually do it way better than this, but when you're cooking so much, sometimes you can't be too perfect. But it's really, really, really good. So everything is done. I even plated everything for you guys can see how I plate it. It's not easy when you plate it this fancy. You gotta move food around. You gotta put certain food nicely. Like for instance, like, you know, I gotta put more bacalao on the top, and the olive and the potatoes, you know, like just for everybody could see more or less what's in the bacalao, you know. So yeah, since I take pictures and I do TikTok videos, and you guys already see me on YouTube, the presentation to me has to be like precise, you know? And taste too, because taste is very important as well. And I got here the avocado. We love to put tahini and a little bit of salt. It's really good. You guys should try it. The plátanos, I ain't gonna lie, you know, I didn't keep my eye on the plátanos, and it got a little bit more crispy, but it's really, really, really good because it's crispy on the outside and the edges and soft in the inside. But me personally, I wouldn't want to do it like for a presentation. I don't know. I'm just like crazy like that. I don't know. But it still tastes really good. The ajo. I'm gonna leave the link to my totones and garlic sauce in the bottom as well. I did an egg. I will not eat the egg like that. I'm gonna cook it a little more when I finish, you know, talking with you guys. It's just for presentation, because when you take a picture, this is how, you know, it just looks more better and more fancy than just like a egg, you know, thrown like that. I don't know, that's just the way I think. But I am gonna cook it more after this, you know, after this part. The white beans with the potatoes, that's really, really good. Some slices of cucumber. I was gonna make salad, but I was like, let me make it a little different. Let me just add slices of cucumber, make it simple. And some limes. Now it's good to add the limes, like squeeze it on top of your fish. I don't know if you guys could see it, but I'm gonna try to see if I could put it in there. You see that juice all the way in the bottom with your rice? Oh my God, you don't even understand. It is really, really, really good. I haven't had this in, you know, in quite a while, so I'm gonna really dog this today. I'm sorry, I am. And the white rice. So a full plate. It wasn't a come cook with me video. I still showed you everything that I made, but at least you got one recipe out of this video. And whatever I can, I'm gonna leave the link down in the description box below. So with that being said, I'm very tired and I want to eat, and my family want to eat. So take care. God bless. Please be safe. And I will talk to you very soon. Bye.